It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared, and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead, I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now. No need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
So, it wasn't a dream after all. Not a very chatty fellow, are you? Not a very chatty fellow, are you? An animal sty. Freight or food?
Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully, her rectangular eyes like letterboxes to the void. With one sharp hoof, she kicks you right in the shin. The Magister Guard snorts and sniffles as he sleeps. You're almost impressed that one man can make such a phlegmy racket.
Is my shift over? Are you here to relieve me? Wait, you're no Magister. You're a sorcerer. What are you doing here, filthy lizard? Choose your words carefully. My fists ache to meet a new face. Damn. If it's not one thing, it's another. And no way I can trust those fools to deal with any nonsense on their own. Can't leave the prisoner alone, though. That's all I needed to hear.
The prisoner's eyes meet yours. He speaks not with gratitude, but with gleeful malevolence.
Ah, freedom! Tastes better than wine, and I can set you free in return. Say your prayers while you've breath to speak them, lass. The halls await.
What would he have to gain by killing me? I need to keep my guard up. Not the most elegant solution, was it? And I'm back where I started. Nowhere to go but up.
What a well of knowledge this tome is. Dallas is such a dear lending it to me. you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Why? Because we're at sea, of course, and have been for several days.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Sauce. For good. Is he? Oh well. Some problems simply sort themselves, don't they? Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those Sauce spells of yours? See what happens. Oh, do go on. I won't hold it against you. Promise. My, aren't we a meek little lamb? Perhaps I needn't have collared you at all, though it does look darling on you. So let's just leave it on, shall we? Because to answer your question, what this collar does is this. It makes you unable to cast Sauce. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's.
Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass.
Good God.
Behind the magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does. You surprised? You're one of them. You know what sorcerers are capable of. Whoever did this found a way around their collar and killed a man. Small ones this time, thank the gods. We'll find out who did it, one way or another.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scared the living daylights out of him. His own shadow and his own source. We'll find out who did this. Speaking of,
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. Didn't even stir. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, there wouldn't be a Magister. It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest, well, you see the evidence in front of you. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks. I just want to catch whoever did this before they hurt anyone else.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
Sing us a song, I know you can.
My mum is afraid of lizards. I'm not. I think you're neat. I'd be happy if I had a tail.
Wow! You're a dragon. You look like a dragon. But where are your wings?
Do you know Losa? She's a really good singer. I'm better though. Listen. La 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 la.
Ah, there you are, wife. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not-at-all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical.
The young woman seems about to raise her hand, but quickly remembers herself and nods pointedly at the excited children.
Who indeed? Why, my name is, Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb.
The children break out into giggles.
I say, it is.
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. Nope, trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
But I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out, flicks a finger against one of your scales, and rubs his chin.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Ah, yes. The niceties. My name is Fane. I am a scholar from... well, I am a seeker of knowledge. That is enough. It is pleasurable to meet you. Hardly. I've been reading this one for several minutes, and I have yet to find a single insight into the mysteries of the universe. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Oh, please. I have no interest in that. Your books are too full of it already. No, I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Of course you don't have any useful information. Why did I expect anything else? Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book, or...
Shut up. Mad? Insufferable, surely.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, Geralt. You hear that? The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And?
The fellow cocks his ear, listening.
That isn't anger, it's...
He cocks his ear to the other side, then smiles.
Anticipation. She senses something. I'd hold on to my breeches if I were you, mate.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with him.
That's all you hear, though. Listen close. You've got ears on your head, haven't you? Do you need me to show you how to use them? There now, just like that.
Squeak!
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There, you heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, kiddo. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy. Yeah, no indeed, kiddo. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes...
That'll be all, thank ye kindly, kiddo.
Your kind have always hung closest to our line, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with him.
Forgive me, kin. Were that I had more than gruel to serve. If I'd more than cornmeal and rotting roots, I'd concoct something more fitting. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity. Our customs mean less than nothing as long as these collars choke us, kin.
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
I'm inspecting your teeth, in case that wasn't spectacularly obvious. There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this.
Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook? Ah, music to my beleaguered stomach. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor? Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin once more. A most satisfactory answer indeed. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after. The very basics, then. I suppose that's a start. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we? As per your own testimony, you can cook, tailor, and groom. Well, that just about settles it. I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave. My slave, of course. Oh, but I see. Yes, I suppose it must take some time for the full extent of this honor to sink in. Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort Joy. Now shoo!
And right over the side of this ship with it.
The Magisters are out for blood. You saw the body, didn't you? Big bruiser like you ought to be able to take them on.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like. Rolling dice. Deciding fates. Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
She smiles contemptuously.
Just a kitten in a corner, aren't we?
Nothing to see here.
The pale young woman doesn't...
So, anything interesting? Right.
Off to the herd, little sheep.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
When I want you to attend me, I'll whistle.
Mad?
Our customs mean less than nothing as long as these collars choke us, kin.
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your sub-story somewhere else.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out
A
of
scruffy
plates.
man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing you, he straightens and beckons for you to come closer.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp Ifan.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again. He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck. He winks.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants.
Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties. No. The dead man, Finn, is it? I'd no business with him. And I wouldn't put a man down without good reason.
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back at him with pointed intensity.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The Joy, I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since Bishop Alexander runs the show. Wonder if we'll get to meet the Ringmaster himself. Not eager to bow before the great Bishop Alexander, son of the Divine himself. My sentiments exactly. But Vic here will blow a blood vessel if he hears you talking like that.
What are you conspiring about over there? You, Lizard, what's your name?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet. And that bee is me.
Name?
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook. He scowls at you as he stows the notebook back in his voluminous robes.
Away with you, at once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he leans back against the wall.
Murder most foul, and I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Carrying on.
Do you? Well, perhaps absolutely right on one by one.
Just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up. Mad? Insufferable, surely. I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
This again? This again?
Tries to run, shoot to kill. You seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter? Murder most foul, and I strongly suspect you know all about it. Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
Can we just... When I reassure you and you shut up. Mad? Insufferable, surely. I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Here's the register, ma'am. Good, good. Magister Williams has just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far?
He tugs the collar of his uniform and chuckles.
Sorry you're upset, ma'am, but we all wear what we wear for a reason. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Keep those bolts trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill. You seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter? Murder most foul, and I strongly suspect you know all about it. Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella? Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end. Good.
God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer. Go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
By all means, do as the officer says. But you had better hurry, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts Source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound. The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide open, like those of a corpse. Dark, greyish-black clouds swirl through them.
No.
Oh! What happened? Must have been the turnips. Water? Wine, for goodness sake! Oh!
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into unconsciousness.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way. I'll need to find another way.
Not long before this thing snaps into splinters. Damn, that doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards.
Thank gods!
He eyes the collar.
Another sorcerer! Like you don't know? Mutiny! Did that witch fix your collar too? Go on then. Find a place to hide and stay there.
What will happen to us?
God damn it! Need to get off this wreck, and quick! What in blazes? Something's pounding on the hull!
You pass through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and a glorious jewel sits in the middle of his forehead. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia, muttering to himself.
No, no, no! What damn fools record knowledge on a pulped tree? It catches fire, it turns into must when wet, it cannot even resist acid! No wonder they're so bloody ignorant.
The skeleton looks up and notices you for the first time.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book, frantically flipping from page to page.
Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone that wants to read the bloody book he's holding. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me to take that primitive form. A mask that was stolen by that damned witch after her little scene. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands.
The skeleton holds up his book in one quick, frustrated movement.
I am trying to discover if there is anyone worth saving, and I will be damned if I let the lives of some mayflies get in my way. Go on, go. Swim or drown or do whatever takes your fancy. I have a book to read.
door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize the symbol immediately for what it is, a warning of death fog within. You press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm, but simply grey. The color drains from your hand, and you are left numb. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind.
Deathfog! I need to get out of here now! The ancients, I need to get off this ship! Oh no! So much for a peaceful stroll.
Children and dwarfs first, just like the old school say.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there. We need to help them.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you! There's a ladder right over there. You can go straight down.
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear?
There's a boat. Wait! Voidwoken!
These beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary.
Let the games begin.
They who are about to triumph salute
I've faced worse.
Won't tell him when there might be more. We need to move.
Let's not tarry. This old tub is about to burn.
I hear something. It's...
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to stem the bleeding of a gushing wound. With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth, soaked with some kind of strong-smelling tincture. Blood quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Siwan's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Siwan clutches your arm, her eyes locked with yours. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboards shudder. Bloody bubbles froth from her mouth. She's not long for this world. She's no more than a groan now, fading. She's no more...
There's no time.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Orivan.
Those Voidwoken made short bloody work of the ship. Am I the lone survivor?
It seems someone, something, wanted me alive. The Order would get rid of any trace of the old Source King. This statue must be 1,000 years old. I wonder how much longer it'll last.
The child has a small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles, inspecting his eyes, his chin, the crown of his head. He spots you, and his arms snap to his sides.
I'm not supposed to talk to lizards. Really? Like, what kind of stories? A dragon that marries an elf? That sounds silly. Can I hear it anyway?
You warmly tell the tale of the dragon, but despite your best efforts, you notice that your knowledge of legends and monsters is somehow upsetting the child.
Are you a sorcerer? One of those guys that brings the bad void things here?
The child looks at you straight on, unafraid, searching your face. He lifts his mirror to his nose, closes one eye, and looks at himself again.
I don't see any source on you or me. I guess they're wrong. Or crazy. Maybe you're right. At least they don't mind where anyone goes. They know we can't leave the island, and it's a lot nicer out here than outside. They're gone now. The Magisters took them already. I guess now they're cured. And maybe they're waiting for me back at home. But you didn't die. I guess I am, but it's just normal to be scared. Nowhere isn't scary. There isn't anywhere safer. That's what I mean. You'll see.
Voidwoken. Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn, they made it to shore. Collars were supposed to keep those things at bay. Drowned and eaten by a Voidwoken. I wonder in which order.
You spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. His skin is of a bright, blood-red color. Could he be... Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his, two smoldering embers that sizzle your very soul.
I did survive, yes. And chances are I wouldn't have, had you not returned to the aid of your fellow passengers down in that dreadful hold. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
Yes, I'm sure you've all the makings of a hero and all that, but let's not get carried away, shall we? Nevertheless, one good turn does deserve another, so as far as the whole slave business is concerned, let's just forget about it. You may as well have your freedom. Now then, if there's nothing further... If you really must know, I haven't quite decided yet. I've a frightful amount of things on my mind, hence my standing here contemplating the waves.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? Memories. Quite so.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments pass as the waves lap against your thoughts.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see an empire. I see continents dotted with mighty cities. And shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost. Yes, but these weren't castles in the sky, were they? Quite obviously, I was musing over the very actual empire that I lost.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am? The very same. I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the World-Tamer, the Spouse of the Sun. Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause, during which his grandiloquent pose deflates ever so slightly.
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunities at the moment. The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have. Truly. A kind offer indeed. And you've already proven to be trustworthy enough. You came back for the others on that ship, after all. Fine, I accept. On one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer, one of our kind's revered mystics. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. Jolly good. So, now that that's settled, first things first. even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes without saying. As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you? Very well. Onwards then to victory or death.
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately between courtesy and contempt.
Now, as you're aware, you'll be travelling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particularly frivolous, Milord. As your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings. Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go. So, without further ado, let us be off.
A black cat. Some would see this as an omen.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with acute intensity. Its eyes clear, and it shakes its head, confused.
Ooh, that's a pretty one. One, two, long dead of the crew. 3, 4, pretty shells on the shore. Hey, lady. It's a lot nicer here than that stinking boat, huh? I'm sure glad you went back to save the others. Saw one of them wringing out their tunic at the shore a few hours ago. Say hi for me.
I told him at noon.
something.
As the alcove opens up, you see the same skeleton that you met on the boat before it sank. He's leaning over a corpse, prodding and pulling at the skin of its face.
Bugger. How on earth am I supposed to... Oh. Perhaps...
Skeletal fingers reach down and grip the skin of the dead man's face, pulling sharply upwards. After a few more tugs at the man's cheeks, the skeleton relents, letting the head drop to the ground with a damp thud.
Damnation. That stuck fast. I wonder, does the beard act as some form of anchor? Ah! No! Stay back! Don't... Oh, it's you. I must admit I'm surprised. Perhaps you're more buoyant than I suspected. Why, its face, of course. What other use would I have for some rotting corpse? A face that seems rather stubbornly attached to his skull. I would normally employ a tool to delicately but viciously rip the face from the body. I could then craft a mask to hide my bone. But as I lack such a tool...
The skeleton grabs the corpse by the cheeks and pulls hard, grunting in frustration as the body's skin holds firm.
Carved? Please. You hardly think I am one of your breed, do you? You have never seen anything like it because you have never met anyone like me. Simply put, I am an Eternal, and you are not. You have my sympathies. Indeed, no one seems to have the good taste to be. My people are rather absent, at least from this realm. As for the others, well, there is an excavation site at the Black Pit's oil fields. Perhaps there I'll find my answers. A cult? Hardly. We were a race that existed before the idea of race was needed. We were all one. I could ask you to imagine an Eternal as a creature of incredible intelligence and skill. But I fear the limits of your imagination would not do us justice. We studied the mysteries of the universe. We created works of great art. We disappeared. But I will find them. Wherever they are, I will find them. We will have our world again. Ah, well, that is the curious thing. They are clearly absent from this world, and yet they are everywhere. Every one of your races resembles them in some manner, and the statues you have built to your gods look remarkably familiar. Perhaps my people have ascended to some new realm, or perhaps your gods are merely a folk memory. Regardless, they are not here, but I will find them. Wherever. Well, that hardly seems relevant. But if you must know, I was inconvenienced for a time. Several centuries, in fact. Or perhaps millennia. One tends to lose track. I was sealed in a tomb for daring to be curious about the world. It seems our king did not agree that the universe should be explored to its full potential. Perhaps I should thank him. It seems I was spared whatever happened to the others. I wonder if flowers would be appropriate. I suppose, circumstances being what they are, it could be advantageous. You seem more at ease in this world than I. A guide would certainly be useful. Excellent. While we are conversing, perhaps you notice that I am rather skilled in, well, all things. Of course, the arcane arts are my little speciality. I could do that with one hand behind my spine. Now, shall we get on? There is rather a lot to see. Splendid. Very well. Let's be off.
You hear a small whimpering sound from behind a basket. You peer behind it and find a small human child holding her knees and trembling. She looks up at you as if to answer, but recoils at the sight of you and buries her face in her knees once more.
Because you're a master. Master sent us here. Me and Ma and Pa. She was not a nice lady. Lizards aren't nice ladies. They beat me. Gee, you don't sound like a master. You're nicer than the others. But I still miss my Ma and Pa. Parents are the best. They take care of you and make sure nothing can hurt you. And when they leave, you're all alone.
Her eyes lock with yours for a moment. She places her head on her knees and sits quietly. The child doesn't lift her head from her knees.
Where is she? You go with us. Who are you? Are you from the shelter? She says nothing of another. Fire, alas! She is so late! Never mind. It is not your concern. You leave. But...
She leans forward. Her eyes are wet with fear as she takes your hand.
Please, do not lead anyone here. Psst. Fear, alas! I'm sorry, but you must go!
To these turtles. They're transforming. Swallowed too much seawater by the looks of him.
Foolish to attempt an escape by sea in these waters.
You hear a small whimpering sound from behind a basket. You hear a small whimpering sound from behind a basket. You peer behind it and find a small human. She looks up at you as if to answer, but recoils at the sight of you and buries her...
Because you're a master. Master sent us here. Me and Ma and Pa. She was not a nice lady. Lizards aren't nice ladies. They beat me. Gee, you don't sound like a master. You're nicer than the others. But I still miss my Ma and Pa. How do you know?
The child smiles. She starts tracing small shapes, hearts and stars and diamonds into the dirt.
Everything has a heart. Except lizards, maybe. Maybe they do. I don't know. The waterfall has a heart made of a giant diamond, see?
Need I repeat myself?
Stay back, sorcerer, and stay silent. Our Godwoken speaks.
We know you've been helping sorcerers escape, Atusa. We have proof.
I'd sooner cut my tongue out than lie to you, Alexander. I know nothing of any escapees.
If you can tell the Godwoken no more, your tongue is of no use. Cut it out.
This can't be serious, Alexander. Come!
You should know by now to obey your superior, Magister, whatever she may ask.
Stay silent, lizard!
Atusa pinches the tip of her tongue with 2 fingers and brings her dagger to its root. Her eyes squeeze shut. Drops of blood form against the dagger's edge and quickly fall to the ground.
Stop! My father, may his soul rest in peace, would be disappointed in you, Atusa. To think you would lie to his only son, your bishop, and your friend these many years. The fate of our realm hangs in the balance. If you will not help us save it, then you will help the Void destroy it. Dallas?
Yes, Your Holiness?
I believe we're done here.
What a waste. Come, we'll be needed elsewhere.
The Lizard Magister, or what's left of her, lies in a puddle of gore.
These creatures are so prone to violence, naturally, the weaker specimens suffer.
Did you see him? You did, right? Those claws. Wonder what's behind the masks, too. Can't be pretty. The Geists, dummy. The Hammer and Alexander had 2 in tow just a moment ago. Ugh. Thought you lot would be interested in a thing like that. Horrors, eh? Easy to say when you haven't looked a void walking in the eye. The Order and their horrors are all that's protecting you from that fate. You and everyone else in Riverlon. Now why don't you move along and settle in? A Magister will come and find you when they're ready for you. Could be a while, though. We're up to our hoods in sinners these days.
I got my eye on you, Scaly. Don't try any of that sauce business on my watch, or I'll do to you what the Hammer did to that traitor. And I don't appreciate your kind conjuring up these horrors from gods know how deep. But we've got to live with each other, ain't we? For now. Bishop's the son of the dead divine. Don't know when we'll get a new one, but Alexander's looking after us in the meantime, all the same. And the Hammer's a solid sort. Don't take no guff and don't stand for no idling. Earned that name for a reason, she did. During the time of Lucian, of course. Who wouldn't join up with God himself? It was all glory, all goodness. When we lost him, well, it only made sense to see his will through. Can't for certain, but I reckon when God himself gives his life to protect you, you don't waste the gift. You protect it with everything you've got. So that's what we do. Lucian gave his life to protect Riverlon. If we let the Voidwoken get to it now, well, we'd have lost him for nothing. Fort Joy ain't no summer camp. No one said it were, but it's the best we've got to protect the realm.
Move along, eh?
Did you see them, miss? Bishop Alexander and the Hammer herself?
They were so close, almost within arm's reach. A kin, is it? A traitor cannot be murdered. A traitor can only receive their due. Doubly so for a lizard traitor. It's a pity she couldn't die twice. Easy enough to say in times of peace, but look around. We're standing on the edge of the end. The void woken are coming, Scale Shedder. And it's only the Divine Order that can protect us.
God!
Come on then, Lexi. Hey up.
He hasn't changed a bit.
I find only bread. I want no trouble. You! Help me teach this beast. He must respect. If not, he comes for you next.
Respect? Huh. Someone's got to keep this place running. Griff can't do it for free. Why'd you gotta make this so hard?
An intense-looking man steps between the thug and the elf and rolls up his sleeves, revealing well-muscled and heavily scarred arms. You recognize him. It's Ifan, who you met aboard the ship on the way here.
Just stand aside, won't you, mate? This is no business of yours.
Lone wolves decide their own business.
The thug freezes in fear for a moment before shuffling back to the protection of his crony.
Pay up, elf. No one shorts Griff, especially not one of you.
Burrow looks you both up and down, sizing up your combined threat.
Ah, get out of here. The both of you. You ain't worth the sweat of my brow anyhow.
The elf smiles and bows to you in thanks.
Follow me, before more of them trouble us. There is a safe place.
As you approach the blacksmith, you feel a bony hand on your arm. Fane leans in and whispers in your ear.
If it would be acceptable, I have an inquiry for this human. It is of a personal nature. And if it would not be acceptable, well, that would render this entire conversation rather awkward.
Fane approaches the blacksmith and quietly speaks to her. You can't overhear much, but he seems to be gesturing towards her head an awful lot. Fane's words are quiet, but you hear the blacksmith repeat, "Face Ripper," in shock. She slowly starts to back away.
What is it with creeps like you and Master Niles? I told him to slither back to his dungeon, and you can get too, freak!
Fane backs away, scratching his head. It seems that didn't go as he'd expected. He is lost in thought, though. She must have said something he found interesting. Amidst a crowd of screws, bolts, and scraps of metal, the woman is manipulating a glove-like contraption fitted with 5 long metal skewers. She doesn't look up as you approach.
And what you after? I ain't. Just seeing how it's made. She's clever, Dallas. Made these herself, for those bodyguards of hers. Boy, they're sharp.
She looks up.
You looking to buy something? All manner of things. Have a look. found it in the scrap heap not so long ago. We used to know each other back in the day, you know. Dallas and I. Never knew her to be much of a wrench head back in the day, but once she joined the Order, she started turning out all manner of oddities.
She nods once.
You looking to buy something? Or do you just want to waste my time with a whole lot of questions? For you? Hell no. Worthy is exactly the right word. You know, someone who's... Leave me. Go. Get away. Get back. At least wait till I've croaked my last, if you want to study.
She groans in pain, refusing or unable to...
Oh, out my face. Them scales won't save you. I'll punch your lights out.
He smacks your hand away, refusing the potion.
You're trying to kill me, ain't you? Get! Those bleeding fools think they run the place, but I showed them. Sure. First, always win. Second, never lose. What are you? Some kind of idiot? Get your ugly mug out of here.
Frightfully busy at the moment, love. Haven't got any liquor on hand, have you? This fella could use a little comfort. Why, look at that. Just what I ordered. Ain't you a peach, love? An old dean here'd thank you too if he could. Poor fella over there crossed one of Griff's card sharks and got a club to the skull. Doomed to be sure, but I'd like to ease his way out.
A little reprieve from the din outside.
House.
No one tells me there are so many children in this Fort Joy.
Magisters I handle, but small ones. An elf lives forever. If she stays away from spears and fire, she has no need for slimy, sticky, small ones. Look around you. Your stable population at its finest.
Is it not enough that you travel with me? Go on then, bark away. Let's see if we can find any method in it.
Look around you. Your
The young girl's eyes are covered, but she turns towards you when you approach. She smiles as though she recognizes you, though she couldn't have seen your face.
Ah, hello. I see you come a long way. I see you come here seeking a great adventure. Do you find it? I see it before my eyes.
Her eyebrows shoot up.
There can be a way. Amiro knows. But he is gone. Do you see him? He knows how to leave. My protector, my friend, an elf like me, with a spirit bright as new leaves. He tries to help me, to save me, and he suffers very much. He is caught by those who hurt him. I wish so much for his return. And he tells you what you seek, a way out. You bring me great peace. Thank you, my friend. I miss him very much. I see something that helps. I see a lizard. He is a lizard of many dreams, of far feeling. You do not free Amiro without him. Yes, please ask. Oh, I do not cover my eyes. I cover the place they used to be. They are gone now, taken, but I see all the same. He is a very blind man. He sees things but not truth, not love or joy. I feel very sorry for him. You understand when you meet him after you escape. It is safer here. We make no trouble for Griff. He makes no trouble for us. I knew we must be here. I am not sure how much to explain. You are here, and so we are here. My home is far. Your language gives me some trouble. We elves... Time, for us, is now. There is not then and when.
Thank you for your help with that, thug. No doubt he turns on you next. These humans hate us.
She bows.
I hear of no escapes. The only way out is through. Through the Magisters, through their cure. Thugs I can stand, but I fear the Magisters. In this cave, we trust the healer. She is young, but she sees. She knows more than we know. In the camp, the brute Griff rules. He who gives the bread has the power. It gives me great pain. I'm with my family. We are making beautiful magic. We are healing a tree cut down with great violence. The Magisters come. My family runs, but I fall. My son looks back. I shout to him to run. I am taken. Wait, before you go, I am not here without your help. I do not forget this. For you, a prize. I save it for a special occasion, but I can think of no finer occasion than this. Thank you.
I magicked you, you're dead!
I feel him, but I do not see him.
I'll stab you right in the eye! Wait, I call a timeout! Maybe you know my mum. Helen. She served the bailiff of the House of Law. She died when the Void Woken came.
Suddenly, the child's face crinkles into a grimace. She seems on the verge of sobbing when her face suddenly goes still and blank. She smiles at you and continues her game.
I'm playing Helen, hero of the whole world. Who are you playing?
Whack! Back, evil ogre, or I'll get you with my sword! I'll spare you this time, beast, but don't cross me again! Ever! You're really fun. Hey, I'm gonna hide somewhere in the cave, and you come find me. Ready? Go!
I feel him, but I do not see him.
You found me! Okay, wait. Let me hide again. Ready? Go! Oh! Wow! You're really smart. I bet. You know what? I bet my best friend would really like you. Come on, I'll introduce you. I know how to spell introduce. It's I-N-T-R-O-D-U-C-E.
This hole is too small for you to squeeze into.
For you. You'll have to find another. Hope you brought a shovel.
I've spotted something. Let's hope this is worth the digging.
Wither, this is my new friend. She's really smart. You'll like her a lot.
Please, small child, leave me to my ruminations.
But she's really nice and tall. Maybe she can even help you with that thing.
Why? A grown friend? You brought an adult here? Good. Good gods. Can it be? Ah, the bag. And you brought... But... Where is it? Can it be? A lizard? Why, I never thought I'd see the day. Do you understand me, madam? Oh, I dare say I ought to enunciate. Can you help me? 700 years. Can it have been so long already? Gods, I haven't seen a living soul in all that time. What a strange notion. A child may technically be alive, but so is a potato, if you understand me. No, Modi cannot help with what I ask. A wicked king it was, Brachus Rex by name. The Order of the Source Hunters discovered a great horror upon this prison isle, and I was sent to stop it. Yet my failure was absolute. I am not fit to bear the insignia of the Source Hunters any longer.
Please, good lady, you must free me. Prise this spear from my chest, where it has been stuck fast for the last 1,000 years. Seize the spear. End this degradation. I beg you.
I've got it.
Good madam, you've set my body free. Free to crumble to dust at last. Oh. But my spirit, blast! I remain trapped in this mouldering skeleton yet. I have heard of such magic, but have never known anyone so foul as to employ it. Brachus Rex, may maggots lace his entrails. After he interred me in this cell, he must have drawn my very soul away from me and stored it elsewhere in the fort. Thus he has bound me entirely to the mundane realm. But I know this place well. I could lead you to its likely location. In turn, you would find a path straight out of this fort. My freedom for yours. What say you? Marvelous, my friend. Marvelous. You'll first have to get inside the fort itself. There's a secret switch on a statue of the Seven in the courtyard. Surely you know it. The switch will open a hatch, and you'll be led into the prison's main floor. I suspect that within Brachus's phylactery room, you will find the container which ensnares my soul. He has likely disguised it well, but search there for another hidden switch. Brachus would have made me a supplicant, a slave to these walls. With your help, I'll die. At last, with dignity. Fort Joy is a dangerous place, my friend. Dangerous indeed. Brachus used this place to build an arsenal of terrible weaponry as yet unseen in our world. Here, he and his researchers crafted punishments and snares contrary to human dignity. Objects that could contain souls, wands that could purge the very essence from sorcerers. My order would never have used such barbaric magic against our enemies. I was fully briefed about this awful place before I came. My goal was to destroy the fiend who had been marshalling the world's most unwholesome weapons and magic into an army he intended to use against the realm. I never thought I would become one of his victims, and yet, here I am.
Wither is free! Now we can be happy! Now we can get out! Well, yeah, a lot. But he's my friend, and it's better if your friends are happy. When I grow up, I want to be a hero like you. You're a real hero, not only one from a story. You finished your quest and saved the princess. Skeleton, friend. Here, take this. It'll show you how to find my secret fort and my treasure chest. So here's your last quest. If you can find a way up, you can have my treasure. So, what did you and Wither talk about? Yeah, I know. Why do you think I brought you down here? I want you to help him. Grown-ups are weird.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey. It appears... This hole is too small for you to squeeze into.
I'm playing Helene.
Something isn't right here. It could be an ambush. Right where I want you.
killer!
Ah, my friend. What do you need? I hear of no escapes. The only in this case, it gives me...
I feel him, but I do not see him.
The frogs are gone.
The old dog whimpers sadly, sniffing your hand. Amid the squalor of Fort Joy, you suddenly spot an elf with diamond features, regal and radiant, but cold too, and sharp. She was the one who sat rolling dice in the ship that went under, deciding fates with every roll. Or so she said. Her eyes are focused on a lizard some distance away, and you get the distinct feeling he's an unfortunate man indeed to be trapped in her tiger-like gaze. No sooner have these words left your mouth than she turns about and grabs you in a stranglehold. You feel the tip of a long needle being pushed a little ways into your neck.
You caught me off guard. No one catches me off guard. Better tell me who you really are, so I can decide your fate here and now. But you did, and now the tables have turned. You look quite startled to me.
A push, a pivot, and now you suddenly face her. The needle still all too deeply embedded in the side of your throat. Despite the precariousness of your situation, you notice something that remained undetected in the gloom of the ship. A flaw in her diamond features. A curiously shaped scar on her left cheek.
It's dawning on you, isn't it? Why I hate reptiles like you. Forgive me if I don't take your word for it.
She drives the needle in deeper and whispers.
In truth, it does not matter in the least who you really are. You saw me mark my prey. You could warn him, save him, or kill him before I get my chance. That makes you a liability. That makes you needle feed. Your death will be slower, more painful, but never. You are a lizard, perhaps a slaver. Why should I freely chain my fate to one like you, like I was once forced to? I hate to say it, but you make sense, fork tongue. Oh, little needle mine, what should I do? Push or pull? You know what? Today is a rather fine day. Sunshine and an easy breeze. Yes, I'll let you live. I'll even agree to travel with you, provided we talk to another lizard. The one I've had my eye on. I'm not quite sure the weather will save him.
With a casual flick of the wrist, she withdraws the needle from your neck and smiles, as if she just invited you to sit down for tea.
Let's discuss our respective roles then, shall we? You, me, and Death will be playing many a round of hide and seek. So, what role would you like me to play? As a rogue, my speciality is stealth. Suits me fine. Lead, then follow me.
You're not quite certain you'll ever sleep soundly with Sabine in any sort of... Just as you're about to address the lizard, the Red Prince bars you with an outstretched arm.
This man is a dreamer. As you know, I need a word with him. You may wait here while I speak. Permission indeed.
He bids the dreamer stand up and pay attention, which he does in a groveling and awkward manner. The dreamer then chews and swallows a handful of Drudenay leaves before slipping into a trance-like state. He falls asleep. To your surprise, the Red Prince lies down and follows suit. After about half an hour, they wake up and begin to discuss what they saw in their dreams. The Red Prince pinches the bridge of his nose in apparent irritation before turning his back on the jabbering dreamer. You receive a withering glance in response.
A deserved bit of sarcasm, I suppose. But though this sting-tailed fellow may be a less than stellar specimen in the firmament of dreamers, the dreams themselves prove to be quite elucidating. Turns out I'm being hunted by an enemy I didn't know actually existed. The myth-shrouded House of Shadows. The dreamers, though, they're on my side. And they've visions of me on the throne. That's because you haven't seen that other world in all its glory. It is majestic, fit for a prince. Oh, I was born with the promise of an empire. And that promise, but to keep it, I must find a second dreamer. A greater one, a more experienced traveler of the dream world. Bahara is her name, and she resides in the swamplands east of the fort. So, let us make our escape and venture there post-haste.
You know, I could tell you all about swamp dreamers too, if I chewed that much Drudenay.
Oh, do hold your prickly tongue.
Here you are. I wonder what keeps you. Tell me your tale. We are unfamiliar, yet familiar. We are the same material, you agree? I am very curious. So tell me your tale. Start from the beginning. Start from where you come. I see. Now tell me more. Tell me what you do. Tell me what you find. I understand. Now tell me how your story ends. I see it in your shoulders, the weight you carry. I hope your wish comes true. Take this rope. It is a gift. It is common, but it helps you lift burdens. It is nothing. Many fragments swirl on my shore. See what I gather.
The woman looks out on the gently lapping waves. She seems totally at peace, but as you approach, she turns to you with a cheerful smile.
Haven't seen you around here before. New? Well, don't worry too much if you have a hard time settling in. Takes a while to get used to the place. You here alone?
She gives you a long look.
You keep them friends of yours close, eh? Some of us haven't got anyone at all anymore. Not much in this world someone you love can't make better. It's nothing. If I haven't learnt that by now, I haven't learnt anything at all. Used to be I had a family. A husband and a little boy. We were healers. Source was in our blood. Then they brought us here. I couldn't stop them from taking my boys from me when they did. Reckon they were cured. Maybe even released. Don't know why the Reds didn't take me too. Now I'm just waiting for him to call my name. Waiting and remembering.
Her eyes sparkle.
Kind of you to ask. Stefan, he was my little one. Smart as a whip and no less wicked. And my husband, he was called Felix. He was an expert healer. Could fix a broken bone in a short minute.
She talks for some time about birthdays, about Felix's prickly beard, about the skunk Stefan once dragged home for a pet. Joy radiates from her as she remembers. She places a warm hand on your shoulder.
What a gift to think of them. I'd like to give something to you too. A family recipe. One of Felix's best. He'd be happy to know it went to such a warm soul. Take care of yourself. You hear? You're a sweet one.
Ha! I found you, didn't I? Red, they said. Red, then dead. Them that pay the bills, of course. I'll be a rich man when you're 6 feet under. Time's up, Your Highness. Let's dance. It's stabbing time.
Damned nuisance these assassins are. It's their frightful manners I mind the most, really.
You won't regret keeping those friends of yours at your right hand. Trust me. I brought my own share of knowledge with me from the get.
Say he likes it thick and long. Combs it out all dilly-eye day. You say he likes it big and strong. Combs it out all dilly-eye day. He twists and rubs and tweaks the nubs. He strokes and pokes like all the blokes. He say he'll touch it all day long. Combs it out all dilly-eye day. Combs it out all dilly-eye day. Come on, you stubborn hunk of garbage.
The dwarf's fingers clamp around a splintered chunk of wood nailed to the skeleton of an old ship. His whole body strains with the effort of wrenching the plank free, to no avail.
Ah! Eh? Oh, that. That won't be my first or last roll on a lost boat. Reckon I might have had a harder time of it without your help, though. Bravery on the high seas is rewarded tenfold in the hall, you know. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got business to attend to.
The dwarf spits into each of his calloused palms and rubs them together before placing them both back on the plank and pulling.
Bleeding nail must be charmed or something. Go on then, give it a go.
You grab the plank and pull. The rusted nail pops loose, and the plank promptly crumbles to pieces in your hand.
Oh, look at that. Nice of you to finish the job after I loosened her up.
He winks and flips a gold coin toward you. It makes a long, high arc, glinting in the sun, and lands squarely in your hand.
For your trouble. I suppose it were a fool's errand thinking I could make something out of this heap, but I couldn't help myself from trying.
He sucks a finger and holds it up to the wind, testing the breeze.
Winds like these, she would have capsized before she reached the break. Well, on to plan B.
He gives you a wry look, as though deciding whether to trust you.
Aye, was planning to build me a raft and paddle off. I've got business north of here, in a town called Driftwood. Far be it from me to miss an appointment. Maybe you don't.
He stands before you and pokes you in the side, seizes your shoulder with a great, strong hand.
There's something of you, you know? You don't have to accept your fate on this bloody island. You can leave here, get on with your life. Why don't we make a deal then? You help me get out of this place. That's the spirit.
He lifts an invisible cap and bows with the grace of a courtier.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. The name's... well, the name's dead and buried. What may have been cast out, but you can bet your last heel of breed she wishes she hadn't have. I've taken my revenge 1,000-fold on that tyrant's fleet. I'll tell you when you're older. Anyhow, we're a team now, so the me is not half as important as the us. Let's get down to brass tacks. Fighting, I mean. I've been up and down the realm so often it'd make your cabbage spin, and I picked up a few tricks along the way. Truth be told, I've grown fond of crushing and casting. A battle mage, if you like. But there's not so important as team dynamics. So what'll it be? Then it's settled. Capital! Aye. But it seems you've no room for old beast in your...
A moment's pause. I had thought us too wicked for rest.
See, he likes it thick and long. Combs it out all dilly-eye day.
Are you certain you want to dismiss your companion?
If we have different paths to take, you...
combs it out. Oh, let's team up, you and me. What do you say? How do, partner? Though I reckon I should fill you in on a few things. Right now, though, the biggest thing on my mind is some candy arse called Lohar, lurking in Driftwood. The Queen is up to something nasty, and he's the best chance I've got of finding out what's what. Well, that's that sorted. Onward then. I've got to get out of here, and soon. And I suppose you do too.
Reaper for me.
The dwarf slaps his knees and chest until a buoyant rhythm develops and begins to, well, not sing exactly, but chant.
They stole me boots and burned me hat, but beast of the sea will come asking for me. They locked me up with a pig and a rat, but beast of the sea will come asking for me. Oh, not bad for being off the top of me head.
He bows to an almost comical depth, then rises and laughs.
Welcome to the Joy, my famed friend.
Well, I wasn't feeling so welcome till now. You almost had me dancing. You get any more songs in you? This savage beast could use some soothing.
Well, I got a right good rebel whooper on hand, warning of the barbaric beast. The others, well, it ain't so respectful, but Royal Guards folk on holiday always ate it up.
Gotta admit, I'm tired of hearing the shanties all singing my praises. Let's hear the Royalist tune. I bet it dresses me down real good.
One Royalist tune coming up. Oh, Macca Smiles, bastard born, the man of life enraged him. A gnashing varmint he became, so Queen sought then to cage him. A pitiful sight, his inadequate fight, the quivering lump sent out of Queen's sight. Macca Smiles, bastard born, the royal knights upstaged him.
Ha! I knew there'd be some good lines in there. Quivering lump. Too funny to be mad at.
The Royal Guard. They'd sing this while wandering the hinterlands, looking for rebels in the shadows. Was some time ago, of course. Back when you were banished to the Isle of Mists.
Beast looks to the ground for a moment, but just a moment. His cheeks rise and redden, and he roars in laughter.
Those were the days, eh, chum? Well, I've got to get moving. Good to see a friendly face, though. Ain't too many wandering around this glum camp.
You there. You've just arrived, isn't that right? Are you quite alone? Forget that. People are fast to abandon clan and kin in this place. They're a bunch of cowards. Not me, though. You would be too if you'd been here as long as I have. In fact, you should be nervous if you're here at all. I know what they have planned for us, and it ain't pretty. I've been here a long time. Longer than anyone else. People get taken sometimes. Some folks say they get cured. I don't know if I believe it, and I don't want to wait and find out. I have a way out of here. It won't be easy, and I need a partner. Just one. Are you interested? Believe whatever you want. This may be your only chance at leaving this place. Take it or don't. Oh, noble. But after the Magisters take you all, your nobility will have been for nothing. Good luck with your friends, though. Enjoy your last days in good company, won't you?
It's too...
I don't think I ain't watching. That's your fifth blue chest in his throat.
Yeah, what of it?
The woman is scrabbling at her throat, as though she can hardly breathe.
Quiet! Better if they don't take notice. They'll only make it... tighter. It won't... budge. I can't breathe. I... can't... breathe.
She breathes deeply into the pouch and begins to calm.
Thank you. Ah, you. Thank you for your help earlier. I needed it. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't talked me down.
I don't think I ain't watching. That's your fifth blue chest in his throat.
Pipe down, Flora. It's time to accept reality.
He hasn't changed a bit. Always late.
fella can't hear himself think with all this racket. Day and night she hollers after that child. You hear that, Farah? You got to cut that out. What's happened to ya? Aye, she needs help, but none that I can give. Mad as a cooker, that one, and twice as loud. Distraught don't even begin to cover it. She's hollering after that child of hers, killed by a void woken she was. Been dead and buried for a month now. Never even stepped foot in Fort Joy. And there ain't no amount of hollering that'll bring her back.
Come on, old man. Please, I'm sorry, but you must leave. My baby's terrified of lizards. She may be hiding from you even now. No. I'm sorry, but she's... Irma, where are you, dear?
She ignores you.
Move aside, dwarf. Move aside. I need to find my little girl. I need to find my baby. You're right. I'm sorry. My baby's been missing for days now, and no one here will lift a finger to help me find her. Irma's her name. I last saw her just here, near 3 days ago. She was playing with her little doll, and I was washing out her tunic. I turned from her for one moment, and she was gone. Left her doll behind, too. It's so unlike her. Yes, of course. Here, you should take it with you. When you find her, give her the doll and tell her, Mummy says this is for her little chicken, and it's time to come home. That's what I call her, my little chicken.
She soaks up a steady stream of tears with her shirt sleeve.
She ought to come with you then. She ought to follow you back to me. This place turns people cold and wicked. That fellow Jeth over there speaks unutterable evil, but I can't move away from him. What if Irma comes back and I'm not here? You are an angel. Truly you are.
Don't like the game, Topsy, you can fold.
No, just because the pair of you...
Irma, Mummy's right here. Where are you?
Farah. She ain't coming back.
Where is he?
Pipe down, Farah. It's time to accept reality.
You there, lizard? I'm looking for an inmate. A smallish man, thick spectacles, prone to somewhat eccentric chatter. He wears a large bronze pendant with a dragon stamped into it. Have you seen him? Useless. It is a very important matter that I locate this Migo. Tell me if you hear mention of him.
If you don't like the game, Topsy, you can fold.
The priest's jaws might be sewn shut with fishing wire, so harshly do they clench at the sight of beast. He speaks one clipped, precise syllable.
Son. I'm not offended by the beast. No matter how foul that name feels to my lips. Just disappointed.
He turns his attention to Beast himself, whose face looks oddly blank, given his usual rambunctious demeanor.
Did you think your merry band could try to toss Justinia into the sea and the clouds will turn to rainbows? A storm of your making still rages, and whenever word of your deeds reaches our ears, lightning strikes. When your flunkies scream for revolution, I know what they're really screaming for, Beast. And I know it's dwarven blood being shed.
Someone had to stand up to Justinia. Not all of us are like you religious types. You fold up your hands and pray. Like that's going to feed the hungry and bathe the young. I'm not given to prayer. I just get things done.
I would sooner implore Duna to intervene than to leave behind a trail of crimson limbs for the innocent to clean away.
The priest collects himself. His eyes still burn, but his words are ice.
May the Seven bless you, Beast. Greetings, child. Frightful far for a moment, yeah? Visited your ancient empire myself a long time ago. The Divine's light sure shines on your kind. Troubles me to hear that. Now the Divine has gone, our world's duller, darker than ever before. When he comes back, he'll bring a gentler world with him.
don't like the game, Topsy, you can fold. Looky here, mates. A fresh face. We love fresh faces, don't we? Oh, yes, we do. Why don't you join us in a round of cards? First hands on the house. No problem, Freshie. In that case, enjoy your stay. But I'll be needing to collect your... I'm sure the Reds told you. No one gets along without paying the interment fee. So, let's make this easy. To be sure, Chief. Pay up and you get to keep your eyes. Sounds pretty satisfying, doesn't it? We'll see about that, Freshie.
That thing eating corpses?
The creature heaves through lips gummed with human gore. It turns to you with great effort, pain apparent in every movement, and madness screams from its wide, bloodshot eyes.
You. Quite lost. Quite lost. Careful, or they'll cross your wires. Now, a little query. Where grows the yarrow? Quickly now, for I haven't much time. You want to leave. You want to go. Tell me where the yarrow grows. Tell me now, or shall I pick your parts clean too? It's easy. Are you mad? Yarrow loves the beach. Yarrow loves the...
The dead man, creature, thing, lies in a heap on the beach.
Whatever it was too dangerous to be allowed to live.
It had to die. You can't leave something like that alive.
If I meet another, I won't hesitate to put it out of its misery, lest its misery become mine.
I only mean that if you think about it logically, she's much better off.
Leave it, Sam. I won't say...
Please, excuse us.
You're talking to me, not her, Sam.
Oh, for the love of Lucian, Balladeer. You're acting like a madman.
Say it again. What you said about my wife. Go on. Piss off. Go on, Sam.
Well, it's the truth, and you know it. She's better off. So what if it was messy? I'd rather puke myself to death 1,000 times than let the Reds get to me. If she were my wife, I'd be happy for her.
A flat smile twitches across Balladeer's lips.
She never did like you. Leave it, Sam. I won't say it again.
Please. Oh, for the...
Say it again. What you said about my wife. Piss off. Go on.
Well, it's the truth.
A flat...
She never did like you.
The man looks for a moment at the corpse at his feet, then turns back toward the nearly finished coffin, bloodied hammer in hand.
Don't feel too bad. Fella had no decency. If you don't have that, you don't have anything to live for.
He nods at you and turns back to his handiwork. He lines up another nail and hammers it into the panel.
Wouldn't know if...
He taps hammer to nail and...
I told him at noon exactly. Didn't I?
She ain't coming back.
Don't disturb me again, unless you've seen me go. You have seen him? Tell me, where was he? And you're very sure it was him?
The ring sits heavily in her hand. Her fingertips droop under its weight, and it seems about to fall to the ground when she grasps it tightly and holds it to her breast.
He was my father. This can't be. You said he was upon the beach, yes? I need to have a look myself. This simply can't be.
She stands stock still with her eyes closed for a moment, then turns away without another word.
Pipe down, Flora. It's time to accept reality.
It's too tight.
I'm not mad, darling. I'm not mad. Sweetheart?
Pipe down, Flora.
What did they do to him? What did they do to him? What did they do to him? What did they do? What did they do? What did they do?